Yo, what is up, guys? So today's video is going to be all about what I would do if I was trying to add 10K a month to my coaching business. This is based off all the work that I've done with my clients through my agency work. I've done this quite a bit with my clients, kind of calling the shots from the side and doing the marketing for them. But I also advise you on how to do this for yourself. This is exactly the blueprint that I will be doing based on what I've seen work so far in 2025. Obviously, there's timeless principles and foundations that I've been using since 2022, 23, but there's always ways to improve based on the trust recession we're in and how a lot of people think that it's a lot more difficult in the online space. And it is, but it's also because the space is getting saturated, which means the market gets skeptical, et cetera, et cetera. If you don't know who I am, my name is Nicholas Bueno. I ran a marketing agency and built it up to 650,000 over 2 years in total revenue Canadian. It was about 20 to 23K Canadian a month. And some of the best client results I got were I helped my client Corey Armstrong get from 10K a month to 50K a month in about 9 months. I helped my client Steve Cotter get from $500 a month to 6K a month. I helped my client Mark Sandor 4X his coaching top line revenue, which was amazing. And a lot of the principles that I used to help build those clients' businesses is what I'm going to be teaching you in today's video. So there's two parts to this. There's one, creating the proper marketing, and then there's two, that's not what I meant to do, effortless conversions. I should have scrolled over. But it's quite simple, really. At the end of the day, it's how do you communicate the value that you're giving the market? How do you position it as new and different instead of just better as like marginal improvements on what everybody else is doing? And then how do you convert and fulfill on that? So the first section is creating the proper marketing. The first thing I would do is making sure my offer has a unique angle to it. It's not enough to get a result. It's not enough to be good at doing something. You need a unique mechanism. You need something that differentiates you from the rest of the pack. So for example, I always tell people that when a market saturates, you need to start improving the way that you market your offer. So for a while there was like 7-minute abs, as VHS that people took home to do fitness stuff. And I always joke, if you've ever seen There's Something About Mary, he tells Ben Stiller picks up this hitchhiker and he goes, yeah, you ever heard of, or it's 8-minute abs. He's like, you ever heard of 8-minute abs? Yeah, mine's gonna be 7-minute abs. It's gonna be so much better. Then Ben Stiller goes, well, what if somebody creates 6-minute abs? And the guy gets pissed off because you can't get abs in 6 minutes. What are you talking about? So the point is, if you just keep going better and better, it's going to sound ridiculous and people won't resonate with it as much. People won't believe you. But if you create something that's new, if you create something that's different, then people are going to want it, right? So something like online fitness coaching in today's model is different from a VHS. It's different from a take-home video. It's different from what people were using in the past. That's why it works so well in today's world. It evolved as time went on. So thinking about your offer having a unique angle to it, I like to tell people there's a client that I worked with. He was a fitness coach for high-performing men, high-performing executives, and his whole thing was, we'll help you lose 20 pounds, get in the best shape of your life, and have the blood work of a professional athlete without having to go to the gym more than 4 times a week. That is a unique mechanism. That's something you don't see a lot of people talk about. Instead of him just being in the fitness space, instead of him just being in the men's coaching space, he said, I am going to help you get a massively beneficial result because everybody's talking about just losing weight, dropping fat, gaining muscle. He said, I'm going to make your blood work the same as a professional athlete's. And so that played into the method they used in order to get results. They had their clients do blood work, they got their panels done, and they started doing biofeedback, biomechanics, as well as the regular, walk more, eat more protein, go to the gym if you want to go to the gym, all that kind of stuff. Another example I want to give you is my offer that I'm currently working on. Currently building an offer, going to launch it in 2026. Very, very exciting. And the whole point of it is about building content ecosystems. But that sounds lame, right? That sounds, which is the next point, but not lame, but it just sounds very dry. It's a feature, it's not a benefit. And so the unique mechanism of what I'm going to be teaching is how do you become the kind of person people want to watch? How do you become the kind of person people want to get close to? Because that's something that transcends algorithms. That's something that transcends market behavior. That's something that transcends trends. If you're trying to algorithm hack, if you're trying to pick up short-term wins, if you're trying to just do the next thing that gets you a dopamine hit, that gets you a result, but you're only in it for the short form and you're trying to game the system, you're going to keep looking for hacks. You're going to keep looking for shortcuts every 6 months, 3 to 6 months, because things change all the time. More creators get into the space. Algorithms shift depending on how many people there are out there. They're always trying to see what best keeps people locked on the platform based on people's behaviors and their tendencies. So if that's what you're doing, you're always going to have to change your strategy. You're always going to have to shift what you're doing. My angle is that if you become the kind of person people want to watch, if you can transcend that short-term thinking and think in long-term senses of how do I become somebody people are going to look for, even if the algorithm isn't pushing me as much, that's unique. Because not as many people are talking about how to transform who you are, how to regulate your nervous system and bring your unique essence to the table with your marketing. A lot of people are just talking about do this strategy, create this hook, do this with your carousels, do this with your reels, do this with your YouTube. And that stuff is valuable. Again, the strategy is very valuable, but I think it's about marrying the two. How do you become the kind of person people want to watch? The strategy becomes so much easier then because you are dynamic, because you're somebody who stands out, because you're somebody worth following. So that's what I would do. Make sure your offer has a unique angle to it. If it doesn't, and it's just kind of like, you're doing well so far and you just have a decent offer that is helping people get results, think of a way to market it in a way that sounds new and different. It doesn't even mean you have to change what you're doing. You could if it aligns with what you're trying to do on the marketing side. Don't lie, obviously. But think about how it could sound so much different than what everybody else is doing, how it could stand on its own as a category of one. Second thing I would do is start creating content ecosystems. A lot of people already have one channel they're using, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, whether it's YouTube. And those things are helpful, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever. And making sure that you have one channel firing before you start doing a bunch of other shit is really helpful. You want to master something and you want to make sure that you're really good at it before you extend yourself, before you expand and try to work on, conquering the world. Because if you try to do too much, you might quit, you might fuck up, you might hate it. However, what I would do is systematize my short form content so that it's easy to produce, so that it's easy to get done, regardless of how I feel that day. So you're not living paycheck to paycheck with your content. I would systematize my long form, keep it as simple as possible. Once a week, twice a month. Don't go lower than twice a month. But if you can do once a week, whether it's a podcast, even if it's just like a 15 to 30 minute podcast, doing a YouTube video, something, writing emails, something like that, so you have something to nurture people on a deeper level. There's a saying that people need to watch your content for 7 hours before they're ready to buy. It's much easier to chip into those 7 hours if you are working in 10, 15, 20-minute increments than 60-second increments. And again, they work with each other. They feed into each other. So if somebody sees your short form and they're interested, they're watching these 60-second clips of you, or they're consuming these bite-sized pieces of content from you, and they want to go deeper, they want to learn more, then it becomes so much easier for them to watch your long form. And also, if you are wanting to really accelerate things, ads could work. Don't think that ads are going to save your business. There needs to be a great offer. It needs to be something people want. And don't think of ads and content. Hormozi said this. I'm going to repeat it. Don't think of ads and content as two separate channels. Think of them as the same marketing channel. They're just different subsections of it. Because some people get into the idea of like, what should I do? Should I create content? Should I run ads? You should be doing both. Because if you have your content dialed in and it's good and people want to watch it and they're resonating with it, now when you start using ads and you start getting your message out there further and you are actually paying the platform to target the right kind of people, you're just going to find more people who resonate with what you're talking about. It's going to be much easier to convert people. Third thing is start building your email list. So owned media. So rented media is content platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, because ultimately if somebody were to delete your account, then you'd be fucked. Start building your email list, which is owned media. So you have this list of people that you can always send content to. It's more intimate. So it's like taking somebody on a coffee date to taking somebody on a dinner date. Coffee dates are great. They're an awesome way to introduce yourself to somebody, but you're not really going to get to know somebody and actually move the things forward. Why does this say yes? Oopsie. Until you start taking them out on more intimate dates where you can actually sit and get to know them, where you're doing fun things. Taking somebody to coffee all the time is not going to be the way to make them your girlfriend, right? So start building your email list. So how do you build your email list? Create a lead magnet. And there's 3 lead magnets that I like prescribing, that's the word, to people. The first one is a school community. This is the highest touch point lead magnet you can make. It takes quite a bit of effort because you have to maintain the community, you have to post stuff in there. I know people who have school communities, they have a batch of free content, which is like, okay, what are they going to teach people that is not completely their paid stuff, but it's a good taste tester. It's good to get them interested in learning more. And they also post their YouTube videos in the school community as like a school post. It's massively effective. It's something that I'm interested in doing as well for myself. I might put it with my own offer because I think it builds massive amounts of trust. If you have a free school community where people can come in and get massive amounts of value, where they want to continue working with you more because they want to expedite the process, that's huge. And trust is at an all-time low. So how do you build trust? Showing people exactly what you can do in a controlled environment where they're going to want more. They're going to want your guidance. They're going to want you to hold their hand and give them updates in real time. So it's a school community. You get their contact information for that very easily. The second is a simple PDF guide or blueprint. It's effective. I don't love it. It's my least favorite of the three. I like it enough because it works, but I think that you should have something that's does a bit more work for you, has a bit more leverage than just a simple PDF or a blueprint. And the third one is a drip email course. That's the one that's really helped my clients in the past and myself book calls, close deals more effectively, warm people up on autopilot. Because the drip email course, if you advertise something as like, hey, I got this free email course, do you want it? Sign up. You get over the next 5 days, a day, every day you get like a portion of this course sent to you. It's a lot easier to really get them to see the vision and to change the way they see things. Middle of funnel content, middle of funnel mechanisms, I guess. So like if your top of funnel is your content, your middle of funnel is your email. It's all about changing the way people see the world. And it's really easy to do that in a drip email course over 5 days, where the first day you're going over a specific problem they're going through, you're changing their perspective on, hey, old way, new way, and bridging the gap. This is how you're looking at the world. This is how you should be looking at the world now. Here's why this matters. Here's what you can do going forward to go from the old way to the new way to get the results you want. That I've seen make incredible results with my clients. One of my clients, Munir, he went from 20K a month, he went to 27K a month after we launched an email funnel for him. And that was all in contracted money. That wasn't any pay in fulls because he didn't do pay in fulls. And I believe he was selling, it was about between $300 to $400 a month. And that was the highest month he had ever had. So a massive influx of clients just from the email course because he had a warm audience on social media. My other client, Corey Armstrong, he went from 10K a month to 50K a month. Part of the reason why he was able to get it to 50K a month and sustain it, even when things weren't as good with his content after a while, and we had to change adjustments and strategies, and we weren't doing content for a bit as well after our agreement was up, was because his email funnel was really, really good. It was warming people up, and anybody who booked in through email was way warmer and a much better client, a much better lead. What the hell is going on here? A much better lead because they had been nurtured for a long period of time. So somebody told me this the other day. I want to tell you about it as well. Nurturing people over the long form really helps get deep trust and helps people understand exactly what it is you're talking about and actually become a great lead. Short-term hits like ads and viral content help people get in now and be interested in what you're saying now. So if you can marry the two, that solid foundation, that long-term brand building with the short-term hits, it just makes magic. So after you have your lead magnet, come up with an awesome promotion or one-time offer. And it needs scarcity. And so basically what you're saying is like, hey, for the next 5 to 10 clients or for the next 2 weeks, I'm introducing this banger offer. And it doesn't mean lower your price, but add something that would make it a no-brainer for the people in your audience. So let's say the next 10 people who sign up with you get a one-on-one call with you, or an extra one-on-one call a month, or 2 one-on-one calls over their time, or on the onboarding call it's longer, or they get a free month working with you, or there's some element of, if you do content or marketing, there's an element of done for you if you do done with you. If you're doing a fitness offer, then they get your free recipe book, or this new recipe book that you're launching as a paid thing. They get it for free if they sign up. Come up with something that has scarcity to get them interested in what you're doing, and then send it to your email list. Post about it on your stories. Follow up with your leads. If you have a setter, get the setter to follow up with people, because that's going to make people see like, okay, he's throwing in all this value, and it's only for a limited time. It really encourages them to act much quicker. And the last thing is make sure you have 2 tiers of your offer. So if you're running a coaching offer, you have your super high level tier, like your one-on-one tier, and then your group coaching tier. And my suggestion is make your group coaching tier so fucking no-brainer that they need to say yes. You know what I mean? Like, don't go out of your way to try to charge people up the ass with your group. Obviously, don't work for pennies, but like make it scalable so that instead of having to do all this work, instead of having to do this high touch point fulfillment, you have something that you can do over a long period of time with a lot of clients, like having a group coaching call, having a bunch of modules for them, having maybe a one-on-one onboarding call with you on your OTO, or with your coach, or some type of audit, or systematize something where they can get a ton of value. And then in your one-to-one, make it really high ticket, make it really high touch, so it's worth your time and you attract the best possible clients. Anyways, we're getting around 15 minutes. I don't want to go take up too much of your guys' time. Really appreciate it. And if you're interested in learning about my new offer, send me a message on Instagram. That'll be in the description below, and we'll talk later. Peace, guys.